everyone, it's Simon from High Playing Games with a review of Nippon Marathon. It's out on PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch and Xbox One on the 21st of December. It's already out on PC on Early Access, but will be coming out of Early Access on the same day. This is a 1 to 4 player, local multiplayer, kind of racing game, but it's like a mashup of Takeshi's Castle, It's a Knockout, Wipeout, and someone's LSD dream, just all combined into some kind of madness. I love it. This is easily one of my strongest recommendations for a game to buy for probably a couple of years. I absolutely love it. This ticks all the boxes for me. The way how this game works is that you have 8 lengthy tracks. They take like 7 or 8 minutes to complete per time, depending on how competent you are. And each one takes place in different parts around Japan. So you have like mountaintop markets, Shibuya, a sake distillery. There's like an icy mountain version of stuff, and each one takes on a bit of Japan, shows you a bit about it, strangely gives you some like tourist advice whilst you're racing, which I thought was hilarious, and wants you to get from one end of the course to the other. Now, getting to the end of the course is only part of the winning, because actually it's around the amount of points that you accumulate during that also helps, as well as stars. So you win stars by playing a bit like if you played Micro Machine games, where you need to get all of the characters to fall off the bottom of the screen. So you'll do that either by outmaneuvering them, throwing power-ups at them like a watermelon, or they could just end up exploding, being chewed up by doges, death by a watermelon, falling off a rock or a cliff or into the water, and just being generally beaten around like a ragdoll. The characters work in a way how you're in control of them as you move them around, and you can jump and duck, and everything is very in control, for want of a better word. But as soon as something goes wrong, it flips to ragdoll physics. So you might be like knocking over like a ton of baked beans, or smashing into an insurance salesman in a giant mascot costume. And as soon as you like hit that, you then start to like go boom, and then you'll fly off somewhere. And it's the flick between the two that kind of makes you go ah! And there's an earthquake level where there's an earthquake actually going on as you're running through like supermarkets, and that's proper funny, because then as the buildings are all collapsing around you, you're like being ragdolled off everywhere. So yeah, proper good fun, really enjoyable. The way how the physics all come together. But essentially, if you are the sole person that's remaining at the end, you win a star. And you can win up to, say, I think it's 8 stars. It might be 9 or 10, but I think it's 8. And that's the maximum that you can do. But basically, you need to maintain that, because stars equal points when you cross the line. Crossing the line in first place is great, but that's only part of the score. What you'll also be wanting to do is to keep your popularity up. Now, littered across every stage is a ton of either power-ups and collectibles for you to increase your popularity, or things that you can knock over or like cause problems with. So it could be that when you smash into the insurance salesman and knock them down, that actually gives you 10 popularity points. But if you're trying to smash through a massive queue of people queuing for udon noodles or something like that, then each person you knock over loses you some popularity points. So not only do you have to be fast, you have to be careful, you need to not explode everything or cause carnage everywhere, but you need to avoid all of the pedestrians, because if you knock over one too many geisha, they're going to hate you for popularity votes. At random intervals during these races, after like a checkpoint someone's won a star, everything gets reset, and occasionally you might also have a couple of mini games thrown in. One of them is around hitting the right answers to make funny text-based answer to questions from Weddy, who jetpacks in, and I find that a little bit hit and miss, because you're trying to second guess what you think is going to be funny or not funny for the computer game audience to vote for. And then the other one is like being transported into like a rat maze and try and find your way out with our Australian guy. There needed to be a couple more variations of that maze game for that to kind of be like a worthwhile distraction for me. That's kind of one of the very few downsides that I have, or points of criticism for improvement in the future. But yeah, at the end of this, that's all kind of put together along with stickers for things like you might be the most smelliest person, you might have been a person that's been eaten by a doge the most, it could be that you've been in the lead the longest or something like that, or had the longest streak. It all kind of adds up together, gives you a points total, and then whoever does that wins. You can then do that across multiple courses, so that you've got like a full marathon of doing each course back to back, which will take you just over an hour. What I really like as well is that the multiplayer stuff is drop in and drop out. So say if you've got 3 people to start and then someone comes in late, you could be a couple of races in and the 4th person can pick up over the AI, or someone else can drop out at later points. So I really like how flexible that was as well. There are some additional mini games. One is bowling, but with putting yourself jumping into a shopping trolley and throwing yourself at the pins, which I found hilarious. There's also some slot machines and stuff like that as well. And yeah, there's a few things to unlock as you go. There is a story mode, which I found hilarious. It's done in a visual novel style, and I'm not a massive visual novel fan, I have to say. I find it quite slow-paced in general. But because this is so zany and off the wall and crazy, and makes literally... It makes sense, but there is no sense to it. It's kept me amused all the way throughout, and so I'm slowly going through... enjoying the 4 different stories that you have in story mode to unlock, which will take you across all of the 8 tracks as you go. So yeah, I have to say, I can't recommend this game enough. There's a couple of weird little bugs that occasionally appear, and it's probably because of the ragdoll physics that throw up. So sometimes the AI will run in the wrong direction. Sometimes you'll kind of like flicker in and out your character, where it can't decide if you're in or out of the game or not. But they're so minor, and because Nippon Marathon kind of borders on this, I'm in control, but then everything goes to hell as soon as there's an explosion of something. It's on the right side of being in control, so it doesn't feel unfair when something crazy like that happens occasionally. It doesn't crash at any point, it's just occasionally there's like a weird little bug and it might reset you in the wrong place. Or it might reset you and there's a dog already attacking you before you get going, so you're going to lose the point, and you know you're going to lose the point because you're stuck. Those issues are few and far between, but ultimately in terms of satisfaction, gameplay experience, laughability, I tell you what, get some alcohol and some snacks and some mates around, you are going to absolutely adore Nippon Marathon. Easily my best recommendation of the year. Thanks for watching. You guys take care. Bye for now. This channel is just one of my many projects that cover games, music and film. If you enjoy any of these and would consider supporting me to develop further in the future, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/Satorimon. Thank you for your time and for watching the video.